Hello, welcome to American Dream TV. I'm your host, Jessica Tamaro, and today we're at one of my favorite local businesses here in East Nashville. We're here with Dave Punkachar, CEO and founder of Goodwood Nashville, and we just want to hear about your journey.
It's been a wild ride. We've been in business coming on, I think I just celebrated maybe 13 years, give or take. I started the business in my garage in East Nashville, and I started it because I bought an old house and it had these 100-year-old floors that were highly damaged because the house had been abandoned and there was rain damage. I knew a gentleman who really knew woodworking, and he told me, I said, "What is this wood? I don't recognize it." It was because it was old growth poplar, and old growth poplar just has a lot of different colors in it, a lot of minerality in it, a lot of blacks and browns, and it just looks different than modern day poplar. And so I scoured the state, talked to every woodworker I could find, and trying to rehab this house as historically accurate as I could. I was trying to find wood that we could get milled and like interlace in. But what I learned in the process of that, Jess, was so much of my experience, I found out there was a whole world of people that dealt in reclaimed wood and old wood. And I also realized that like the customer service in that industry was not very good. I was so frustrated so many times, and I was able to buy wood a little bit at a time and then sell it. I was selling it on Craigslist, and the funny thing is it really felt like a drug deal. Somebody would call me, he goes, "It says your ad says you have a lumber store in East Nashville." I was like, "Yeah." And he's like, "I'm from East, there's no lumber store in East Nashville. Where are you?" I go, "Well, you go to Madonna's and you go up the alley and I'll step out of my garage." And it felt like a drug deal.
That's so funny.
You know, and he's like, "Seriously?" I was like, "Just trust me." One warehouse, then two, then three, and then 7 years later, we bought this building and just continue to expand and grow. And it has been a wild ride.
And I remember early on asking you about furniture, and you're like, "I don't know if we'll ever get into furniture." And now
I think it was never part of the plan, and now it's a huge part. In fact, in January 1 of 2025, we're gonna actually split the company on purpose. So we're actually gonna take Goodwood Nashville, it's gonna be the lumber focus, how it was born, and we're gonna launch a new division called EW Carpenter. EW Carpenter can really focus on like fine furniture, and custom cabinetry. EW Carpenter, his name, you can barely see it, but it's stamped in the front of this block plate. Can you see it? The light has to hit it just right. It's like
yes,
right there.
I see.
So he would stamp his planes, and this was a plane, and he actually patented, all the old planers had metal here. He patented adding wood and metal so that you could adjust the metal over time. It's a huge change in hand planes.
So is it going to be like a full warehouse of furniture?
No, that's a great question. It's going to 100% be custom. So we've evolved here in this showroom to, like, if we've had some downtime or if we had some extra time, or if we want to try a new technique, sometimes we'll do it and put that table on the floor because we want to do it and we want to show people what we can build. The studio part of Goodwood, which will be EW Carpenter, we're a custom shop. We don't need a huge showroom. We just need a couple pieces where people can see our quality. We've got years of reviews and happy customers they can talk to. We have a good reputation.
And you're doing like such good things too. So it's not unusual to drive by a corner where things have been torn down and to see a sign that says Goodwood has preserved these trees. Why don't you talk about that, maybe the tornado too?
Yeah, so urban timber is a big thing. And so what you're talking about is a category, what we call urban timber. And I'm not a statistician, but I think the EPA basically says that more timber is thrown in landfills than is like harvested by the timber industry each year. That's really bad, because when wood gets put in landfill or gets chipped up, it decomposes and releases carbon dioxide, releases CO2. It's bad for so many reasons. So what we do is when there's large trees that need to come down, if people know us or refer us to these people, like General Motors was building a big plant and they had to remove a bunch of trees. Well, it's their battery plant. Well, their mission statement is net zero. Well, they're like, well, what do we do with these trees? So they hired us to take the trees and make them conference tables from the trees.
Well, thank you so much for sharing.
You're welcome. Thanks for coming out today and checking out Goodwood.
Thank you for joining us today at Goodwood in East Nashville for American Dream TV. I'm your host, Jessica Tamaro.